I'll need to hunt the scent of blood instead. Rising from your earth bed, it thickens in the air. A smell gone sweetly rancid, I know that you are near. Tonight we'll make love till we die. Tonight we'll make love till we die. I know you think I'm nasty, but I am no common girl. I once slept with the devil, it was really no big thrill. The passion of the killers who lie away from me to show me my own meaning of death and ecstasy. Tonight we'll make love till we die. Tonight we'll make love till we die. Tonight we'll make love till we die.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing?
Make love till we die.
I will make love till we die. How about that, guys? How's everybody doing? Another unplanned stream. Let me tell you about it. I got up this morning. First, let me say my hellos. Super chat, or I'm sorry, super chat. Jesus, I actually took a nap, guys. I took a nap. Jesus. Brandon, what's up? Blade Brown, Super Tenor channel member. Thank you so much. Aaron Click, Mega Cat, Matt, Ryan Swayze, Polly. How are you doing? Def Leppard, spelled differently than the band. I like it. I respect it. Aaron Click, Chester. How are you doing? Rosemary, how you doing? Trina, nice to see you. Gene Wilcombe, yes. Chris Fluff, how you doing, brother? Rick Michaels, Shelby, Chris Snyder, how you doing, brother? Chad, for all things horror, yeah. Seen a lot of you pop in here. Matt says I've been binging the Wrong Turn series. Just finished part 6 yesterday. Those last 2 movies were rough. What are your favorites of those movies? Right now, my favorite is 4. Now, it might be... What's up, Jason? You're sexier. Now, I reviewed the Wrong Turn series last year, except for 2. I haven't gotten to 2 yet, but I did them in reverse order. I think I started with number 6, which is the softcore porn one. And thanks, Super Tenor. I appreciate that. He's like, hey, Lee, wake the fuck up. Yeah, but I started with I think number 6, is it 6 that's the softcore porn one? And I went backwards. And I think you'll enjoy the movies more if you go backwards. I don't know. But 4 is my favorite because that one's the one that's set in the snow. And it's fun as hell. Jason gets it. Wrong Turn 4 is easily the best sequel and most underrated of the franchise. Man, it's got a great freaking ending. It's one of those endings. I'll just say this. It's like the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre ending where you think, yes, they made it. They got it. Oh, shit. like right at the last second of the movie, the worst thing happens. You know, you're like, no, that wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. And it's great. And yeah, I love it. Guys, what do you think of the backdrop? All right. I painted it. What was this color again? I got it right here. This color is English Channel. English Channel. I'm an idiot. I literally walked right up to the Home Depot and I walked over to the paint section and I was like, I just need something that's like bluish grayish. That's what I'm looking for, but not too like shiny. And my eyes just went straight for this color right here. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to try it out. And boom, I like it. It looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Let me know. My boy Blue, that's it. I need a refresher on Wrong Turn, a lot of sequels. You know, it's not as bad of a franchise as I thought it would be. Rosemary, do you like the uniformity? Because in the past, on my last streams, it looked kind of checkerboarded back there, you know? Everything wasn't like, you know, It wasn't straight across like it is now. You see that? And I changed out the posters on top too for you guys. Make it a little bit more Michael Myers sexy for you. So we got like Halloween 6 over there. Kills. A little bit of Starry Eyes action. Halloween 2018. Signed by Nick Castle himself. Thanks to Matt Casey. And below me is Freddy. There you go. If I duck, there's Freddy. Right? Freddy. So, yeah. And that is a Demogorgon. A lot of people don't know what that is. That's a Demogorgon. My wife painted that. Can you believe that? Freehand. Painted that freaking Demogorgon. It's insane. So, yep. Then you got the Dave Vanderhoff right there. The tombstone. And then the more Dave Vanderhoff. It's a 4-hour drive. Man, I love that freaking thing. That signpost. That's so awesome. Hey, what are you looking at, buddy? Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, Wrong Turn. It's a better franchise than I thought it would be. And yeah, I like this color. This color's. I kept racking my brain like, which color should I get? I almost went with orange, but I've done orange in the past, and I feel like blue never does me wrong. But I did like cosmic blue a couple of backdrops ago. I guess the backdrop I had before here. I did a cosmic blue, and it was a little bit more brighter, like poppy, and it was kind of I think it was a semi-gloss. I went with a flat, okay, because I didn't want it to, to overtake the backdrop, but I wanted to accent all the stuff that's on the wall. And I think that the posters and everything else, it pops more. Would you guys agree with that? I think it pops more, whereas with the white in the back, it just kind of felt lost. It was all over the place. But now I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah. Super Tender says, I like the Wrong Turn remake and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 22 because they didn't make the good old boys the bad guys for once, or for twice, I should say. You know what? And I love when horror movies, or really any movies, they kind of subvert expectations, and the characters. I like when characters are given pretty much just a clean slate at the beginning. Yeah, you have some that you might think are bad and some that you think are good, but you can never quite guess exactly where the characters are going to go. And I know what you mean, Super Tenor. I like that too. I don't like it to be so predictable, right? And realistic, that's a thing that you got to have these days too. I definitely want it to be realistic. So yeah. Brandon says, would you ever buy a life-size Michael Myers prop for the den? I don't, I guess he would look pretty cool back there. I know like John Campia's got like a life-size Henry Cavill Superman. And it looks cool, but you can kind of see the light bouncing off of it, and it almost looks like it's in the way. So, and also, I think I might have enough Michael Myers stuff. I might have went overboard with my Myers love in my room, if I'm being honest. I try to be horror neutral, and try to give everybody a little bit of love, and I do give everybody a little bit of love. I have a Chucky, I have a Sam, I have a Scream, Ghostface. I got plenty of Jason stuff in here. But I guess I like to represent my favorite franchise, and so that's why you see a little bit more Myers love in here for sure, right? I think it's like Christian Hanna. He gives a lot of love to Freddy. That's his guy. He loves Freddy, and it's evident when you look at his room. Although he does have a good amount of everything as well. So, Chris says he needs a Billy puppet on his red tricycle. That that would be badass actually, to have an actual tricycle with Billy on it, just kind of parked there in the middle of the floor. I would dig that. That would be kind of cool, actually. I do have a Billy Funko Pop around here somewhere. Maybe Maybe I need a life-size Elvira. I think I might prefer that over a Michael Myers. There's the Elvira Funko Pop. Yeah, signed by her, by the way. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, boy, she was a sweetheart. Fatsy, what's up, brother? How you doing? This is just bullshit an hour, okay? I'll probably be live for like an hour. and we can chitty chat. And if you guys have any questions, ask away. What are you guys doing today? Maybe I should ask you guys questions. What are you guys doing today? How's your Sunday going? I've been busy this day. I've been really, really busy. I woke up this morning, and my wife, she works today, and she called me about 30 minutes after she left, and she told me that she forgot her purse. So I grabbed her purse and I drove it over to her. It was like a 20-minute drive. And when I was leaving, after I dropped off her purse, I thought, you know what? I'm out and about. It's early in the morning. It was, I think this was around like 7:30. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I swing over to Home Depot and pick up some paint? I keep putting it off. I keep telling myself I'm going to paint this back wall, and I never do it. So I went over to the Home Depot. I went over to my job. Don't tell anybody. And I grabbed some paint supplies. But I'm going to bring them back. I promise. You know, just the tray and the rollers and the brush, because that shit's expensive. So that's the good thing about, your chosen job. There's always little perks and benefits that you got from whatever job you got, right? So, yeah. And I came back. I grabbed me some Krispy Kreme donuts. I did eat a couple of donuts before, and to give me a little bit of some energy, I put on one of my records. I put on the Halloween Ends soundtrack. Oh my God, guys. What are you doing with your life? That soundtrack is so freaking good. And I just listened to the whole thing while I painted. And it makes it so much better. But I got a big enough studio to where I could kind of move everything to the middle of the room, or to one side of the room, so I could paint, and then move everything back, and then go to the other wall and do that and paint. So, yeah. Aaron says just doing some housework, chores, tidying up. Yeah, that's always nice. I still got shit to do. After this, I'm gonna mow the grass. I always mow the grass on Sundays, because here in Florida, I know a lot of you up north, you don't have to worry about mowing grass right now, but here in Florida, we're still doing it. We're still doing it. Rosemary says, I'm watching the Netflix Night Stalker documentary today. Is that a new one, or is that the one about God, what was his name? Ramirez. Was it Richard Ramirez? Is that the one that you're talking about, Rosemary? I did see, if that's the one you're talking about, I saw that documentary a few years ago, and it's really, really good. I've actually been in a mad documentary phase lately. I watched, I finished watching the Natalia documentary that's kind of like, they didn't know if she was actually her age. She looks like a child, but she could be it's like Orphan. And boy, a lot of twists and turns in that story. And I'll just say this: the family that adopted her, they are really a piece of shit. Spoiler alert! Oh my God, it just wow. But it does have the very end of the documentary, which I won't tell you. Boy, there's a nice little stinger right there at the end. You think it's going to go one way, and then boom, they hit you right at the end with something that you're like, whoa, that's crazy. So that's on Prime. Did I watch that on Prime, or it might have been on Max? I can't remember. It's one of those, though. Oh, that's Andrew says Halloween Ends is great. Trina says she watched the crime one I recommended. Is that American Nightmare that everybody's talking about right now? Wow, that one will stay with you. It was really, really, really freaking good. Really freaking good. Did you guys ever watch the Chris Watts documentary? Came out a couple years ago. Oh my God, that's a tragic freaking story. He was married, and he had 2 little daughters, and then he had a daughter on the way, or a son on the way. His wife was 7 months pregnant, I want to say, something like that. Whoa. That one gets pretty freaking insane. If you remember the story of Susan Smith from the 90s, Susan Smith, she, I guess, fell in love with this dude, and so she killed both of her kids so she could, I guess, leave her family and go be with the dude. And it was, but she blamed a black guy, of doing it, And then it comes out a couple of days later that she killed the kids. You know, she said that the kids went missing and a black guy stole the kids. That's really making her look really stupid. But yeah. Well, this was kind of the gender swapped version, because it was a guy who pretty much did the same thing. And he killed his wife and both his children. And wow, but the crazy thing about it is that he didn't really have a criminal history at all. You know, just a normal guy like you and me that's going to work, doing his job, and, you know, had a really nice house. His wife was extremely active on social media, on Facebook, constantly posting about, you know, their happy family, you know. And man, what a crazy story. Documentaries are insane. So I'm chewing. I'm sorry, guys. I took a bite of this without even thinking about it. Hold on. Polly's on a Pam Grier kick right now. That's always a good kick to be on. I watched Jackie Brown a couple months ago. What a freaking... It might be the best. Guys, what's your favorite Tarantino movie? Right now, tell me. It might be the best Tarantino movie. Because Jackie Brown, Pam Grier is so good in that. She's so good. And what I liked about it too is everybody, when it first came out, I think a lot of critics were kind of pissed off because they expected Pulp Fiction Part 2, and it wasn't anything like Pulp Fiction. And this is when Tarantino was early in his career. You know, he only had a couple movies under his belt, so he didn't really know what to expect. And a lot of times, a really, really great director can put out an amazing movie and then never have another good movie. So we didn't know at the time, because he had Reservoir Dogs and he had Pulp Fiction, which is boom, boom, two great movies. But still, there's always that chance that, okay, is that all he's got in the tank? Sure enough, it's Tarantino. He's a legend. I'm seeing all the movies that you guys just listed there right now. Freaking look at those. Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs, Django Unchained, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Death Proof. All of them are just, they're not good. They're all amazing movies. Hateful Eight, man. Like, he's that director that you can just throw in any of his movies at any old time, and they're just feel-good comfort movies, right? You could literally throw in any scene of any movie that he does and be entertained. So, there's only one Tarantino. He's quite amazing. I wish he would do like a straight-up horror movie. I would love if he did. I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was had a little bit of that in the final act, but man, I would love if he just went balls out and did just a straight-up horror movie, because Tarantino loves horror. He does. He always is talking about horror. If you go on YouTube, type in Evil Dead, type in Jaws, type in Carpenter and Tarantino after, and there's videos of him talking about so many different horror movies. He loves horror. There's a thing about The Thing. Like, The Thing's one of his favorite movies. Yeah, what a legend. What a legend. Blu-ray Addict says Tarantino's last movie is going to be called The Movie Critic. Yep, and I'm sure I'll be great. I'll be there day one. Doesn't even matter. Don't even need to see. Don't even need to see a trailer. Super Tenor, damn, that Rutger Hauer. I don't get the reference, Super Tenor. I love Rutger Hauer though. The Hitcher is amazing. Yeah. Dave Vanderoff, what's up, brother? Dave, do you like the backdrop? It makes your tombstone pop more. Okay. Yeah. He loves My Bloody Valentine and Silent Night, Deadly Night. He has my respect. Yeah, I watched the Silent Night, Deadly Night video that he did, and boy, he was giving that one high praise. He loved how it was from the killer's point of view, and just the story structure in Silent Night, Deadly Night is so freaking unique for a slasher movie. Like 99% of slasher movies do not take that structure. You get like the killer's POV all the time, but This goes even further and gives you like the killer's backstory, you know, and then in the modern day we follow him. It's almost like his descent into becoming a serial killer, which is really cool. We don't get that often. Tiff, how you doing? She says she likes the backdrop. Thank you very much. What's up, Airborne Rocker? Yeah. I had a news story that I wanted to throw on. It's about that Longlegs. They say, I think it's the Longlegs movie. Have you guys heard about Longlegs? I think this will be the new like Skinamarink for the year. It could be good. It could be horrible. What's interesting about it though is we know that Nicolas Cage and Maika Monroe are in the movie, but they advertise it like it's this super low budget Skinamarink type movie. You know, they don't give away anything, and they don't even like show off the stars of the movie, which is really, really insane. Longlegs is directed by Oz Perkins. I'm not sure. You're probably right. Let me pull up this news story here real quick. Will that close? Yeah. No, it won't close. Okay. All right, I hate pop-ups. All right, Neon slams an axe into eerie third teaser for mysterious 2024 horror movie. Distributor Neon has spent the first few weeks of 2024 teasing one of the horror movies they'll be unleashing this year, and the campaign has been particularly interesting because they're not telling us what movie they're even promoting. Some think it's the Hunter Schafer starring Cuckoo, while most believe it's the Nicolas Cage starring Longlegs. Our best guess is that it's indeed Longlegs, a serial killer horror movie from director Osgood Perkins. So yeah, Blu-ray Osgood Perkins. So he did The Black Coat's Daughter. Okay, now I'm definitely in. And Gretel and Hansel. Nicolas Cage stars alongside Maika Monroe, with Monroe playing an FBI agent and Cage plays a serial killer? Whoa, okay. For what it's worth, Bloody Disgusting has heard that the official teaser trailer for Longlegs is coming soon. Isn't there maybe there's a teaser, which lends credence to the belief that these teases are also for Longlegs. In the film, FBI agent Lee Harker Monroe is a gifted now recruit assigned to solve the case and of an elusive serial killer, Cage, as the case takes complex turns, unearthing evidence of the occult. Harker discovers a personal connection to the merciless killer and must race against time to stop him before he claims the lives of another innocent family. There still isn't any official word from Neon, but assuming this is a teaser for Longlegs, the final shot gives us the first look at Maika Monroe as FBI agent Harker and previews Nicolas Cage's voice as the film's serial killer. It looks like Monroe, and it sounds like Cage. All right, so we're going to watch these. I think there's like 3 teasers here. Cryptid. Let's watch this, guys. All right, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. This could be the surprise hit. Like, this could be one of the best horror movies of the year. Are you guys excited? I'm excited. I'm really excited. All right, let me play this. All right. Uh-oh. Okay, let's play it. Okay, that's the first one. Was that? Hold on. Let me dissect that a little bit. Hold on. Let's watch it one more time. See, cross up at the top. some dude walking across. Maybe that's a church. That's definitely a priest. I think that's a priest. And then yeah, he's killing the priest. Yeah. All right, let's look at the next one. Are you still saying prayer? Second cryptic teaser. Okay, here we go.
Are you still saying your prayers?
That music sounds like It Follows. Like some of the
Our
sound
prayers protect
effects.
us from the devil.
All right. It said there was an FBI agent there. I didn't really see Macon Monroe, but okay, so maybe there were only two. All right. But that looks really, really interesting. Really interesting. You know, I like that. That's kind of like, it's like the sleep token of movies, right? They're not really giving us anything. They're not even telling us what the movie is. It's like marketing a movie without marketing the movie. And it's like reverse psychology, and it makes you want to see it again, or makes you want to watch the movie. So I'm thinking at the same time. Okay. Brandon says, have you seen 2013's The Frozen Ground with Cage and John Cusack? No, I haven't. I know, guys, who does more movies a year? Is it John Cusack or Nicolas Cage? It might be Nicolas Cage because, but those are the two actors that it doesn't matter what the budget of your movie is, they're on board. They'll do it, okay? Because they got bills to pay, they got mouths to feed, they got rent to pay. So yeah, they'll definitely do it. Definitely getting Skinamarink vibes from Andrew. Yep. Butcher's Crossing, Jesse. Awesome Kiss records you picked up, Lee. Yeah, Dave. I picked up, let me show you. Might as well do show and tell, right? I just did a Linda from the original Halloween when she's following Bob and she trips. That's what I did. I just tripped. But yeah, yesterday I went to Beachside Retro in Melbourne because we went to go visit some family over there. And I always look in the Kiss section just in case this might pop up. And sure enough, it did. That is Kiss Unmasked. And I think this might be Kiss's most underrated album because nobody ever talks about it. Like you don't even hear people say Unmasked sucks. You're just, people don't talk about the album at all. It's in that weird time frame where you had like Dynasty and people started thinking that Kiss weren't cool anymore. You know, they did the disco song I Was Made for Loving You, which is actually their most played song on Spotify. So people had pretty much written off Kiss by the time Dynasty came out. And then it's like they slipped in another album, Unmasked, which ironically the album's called Unmasked, but they did not unmask until Lick It Up, till right before Lick It Up, you know, after Creatures of the Night. But it's just, you know, the album did nothing when it came out. Like nobody talks about this album. And I never gave it a chance for the longest time, just because I never heard anybody talking about it. I was like, that must be a horrible album. It's great. It's a freaking great album. It's far from the worst Kiss album. I was thinking about this today. Every Kiss album, you could give it a title. Like you could say the classic album is Destroyer. The first album is the self-titled album. This would be, I would call this the pop album. It has really good pop sensibilities. You know, most of the songs are very poppy in nature. It's like pop rock, but all the songs are really the structure of the song. You know, it's porn. Okay, but I'm borrowing a term from Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins. You know, these movies are their songs they're pretty much just really quick porn type songs. You know, just to get you there. And but they're all really catchy. Ace has some really good songs on this too, actually. So, and then the two best Kiss solo albums. Paul Stanley and Ace Frehley. I looked for Ace Frehley. They didn't have it. So next time I go, maybe I'll get lucky and I'll find Ace Frehley. But yeah. So I'm getting close to having all the Kiss studio albums that I want. I don't really care to buy anything after Carnival of Souls. I just, you know, Psycho Circus has some decent songs on it. But if I saw it for like $10 for vinyl, yeah, of course I'd buy it. But I'm not dying to get that. Whereas for these, I paid $25 for this used, and I paid $15 for this, which I think is a good deal for both these, if I'm being honest. Because I think if you look for these online, you might pay a little bit more. You might. I don't know. I haven't done my research, but yeah. Ryan, Jolene is right there. Jolene will be always where you like. I didn't make like any crazy changes to the backdrop. I just wanted to make it look a little bit more uniform. I shifted some of the posters around, like, you know, the Halloween Kills poster back there. That used to be right to the right of Jolene. You know, if you're watching my reviews, you'd see it. But I was like, you know what? I'll get some posters that all are the same size, and I'll just run them across right there, right? Which is what I did. And I still have, I Spit on Your Grave over there in the place of where Halloween Kills poster used to be. So, Christian, what's up, brother? I was just talking about you earlier. I was talking about how my backdrop is very Myers-esque. Like, you know, you can tell which is my favorite franchise, although I still try to have a little bit more representation for other franchises in there. You know, you can see a little bit of Freddy, some Jason and all that, Chucky. But I said, Christian, if you look at his backdrop, you might come to the conclusion that he's a Freddy guy, you know, because you have a lot of Freddy. You have a whole Freddy shrine, right? So, but I don't know. I have to take another look at your backdrop, Christian. But I'm pretty sure I think Freddy has the slight edge on everybody else. Am I right on that, Christian? Sorry, buddy. But yeah, Christian, did you see these two albums I just showed? I guarantee you, Christian's got those. I guarantee you, we'll message each other on Facebook from time to time about music. You know, like I'll be listening to something from the 80s, maybe 90s, and I'll be like, Christian needs to know about this. You know, even though he does know about it, but I need to tell him that I know about it. So, like Vane, Christian, didn't I send you something about Vane? The band Vane from the late 80s with Davey Vane, and I was like, this is stuff that Christian would like. Vane, yeah. You want me to show you the albums? Okay, I'll show you the albums again. Hold on. I'm going to give you guys a treat, all right? If you're a Kiss fan, you're going to get a treat. I'm going to show you every Kiss album I got, okay? Every Kiss album I got. This is Soldiers Under Command. That's not Kiss, by the way. Man, this is gold. I found this at Beachside Retro for, I think I paid $30 for it used. But if I see Striper on vinyl, I'm jumping all over it. There's no choice. Okay, here's the Kiss albums, all right? Soldiers Under Command, what a great freaking album, right, Christian? Man, that album rocks. It really does. Okay, here we go. I might clip this out, all right? My entire Kiss collection. You guys get it right now. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm dedicating this to you, Christian, and Dave Vanderhoff. Okay, here we go. No particular order. There is Destroyer, which is the classic. I'll name every album, okay? This is the classic Kiss album. Destroyer is that album after Alive where they said, okay, now we're big. Alive just skyrocketed. One of the greatest selling live albums ever. We can't go back and make those same albums that we made before with the lower production value. We have to step up our game. We can't write songs about chicks as much. We need to try to expand our horizons a little bit. So they made Destroyer. Okay, next one is Double Platinum. I think this is an essential greatest hits of like the makeup years. You know, enough said. Love Gun is the horny album. That's what I call it. But Love Gun is a great... I actually prefer Love Gun over Destroyer. I just love the songs. Love Gun is an iconic classic. Tomorrow and Tonight. Jesus. Christine 16. Plaster Caster. That's a great freaking Gene Simmons song. Shock Me. That's Essential Ace. I Stole Your Love. Yeah, that is... Oh my God. That's probably one of my favorite... Makeup Years Kiss songs. I Stole Your Love. This, what an album. The horny album. That's what I call it. Okay. Creatures of the Night is my all-time favorite Kiss album. I call this the It's Too Late album. And it's sad because this is the best Kiss album. But when this album came out, nobody cared. It was over. And it was so bad that Paul Stanley said, we just made our greatest album and nobody gives a shit. So now we have to take our makeup off. And that's what they did. They didn't have a choice. Paul Stanley says people give him credit because taking the makeup off was a genius strategic idea. He said it wasn't that. It was survival. We were backed into a corner. And, it's scary. This album should have launched Kiss into superstardom again. And it did nothing. And when they took the makeup off, they made Lick It Up, which is still one of my favorite albums, but it's slightly less as good as Creatures of the Night. But it far outsold Creatures of the Night. But yeah, that's when I was like, I will pay as much as you need. I need Creatures of the Night on vinyl. Right? Rock and Roll Over, really solid album. Came out after... I think this one came out right before Alive 2. Some good songs on here. I like Hard Luck Woman. I think that's a classic. This is one of my favorite Kiss covers, album covers. It's a really cool looking album cover. So, yeah. What's the song? Yeah. Stand up. You will have to be afraid. Yeah, that's Love 'Em, Leave 'Em. That's a great one too. Making Love, Take Me. I Want You, Calling Dr. Love. This has got a lot of great songs. You got a great Peter Criss song, Baby Driver, which is awesome. Yeah, this is a classic album. It's really good. It pisses me off people give Kiss so much shit for their musicality. I think they're just as great as any other freaking band from the 70s. They were able to create their own signature, their own stamp. If you hear the song, you automatically know it's Kiss. You could be the greatest prog rock, yes, type band in the world, but if your songs aren't reaching an audience, then does it really even matter? All right? And Paul and Gene knew that. They weren't out to make Rush songs. They knew exactly the type of music that they needed to make. It was a package. And this album right here, Alive, saved them. They were pretty much dead in the water because their first 3 albums weren't selling that well at all. And this is another backed into a corner moment. Kiss seems to be saved so many times in their careers, and with a Hail Mary. This is a Hail Mary, and it ends up being one of the greatest live albums ever made. And if you listen to Paul Stanley's audiobook, the part about the making of this album is highly interesting, because he talks about how it was produced, because he didn't want to put mistakes on a live album. And so it was still kind of Frankensteined together to make a great live album package. They even recorded audience roars in the background, so it makes you feel like you're actually at a Kiss concert, which is cool. And I love the album artwork inside this album, where you see a view of the crowd and they're holding that sign. That it's freaking awesome. Okay, I would say this is the disco album. Although I don't think all these songs, I think really I Was Made for Loving You and maybe one or two others you might point a finger at disco, but this is just a great freaking album. It's really great poppy type songs. I don't care what you say. I Was Made for Loving You, that is a banger track. You can't help but want to dance when you hear I Was Made for Loving You. And but there's not a single bad song. And I'll tell you right now, Magic Touch might be one of the most underrated deep cut Kiss tracks that never gets played, never gets known by anybody. But it's that track that when you listen to it, Magic Touch, you're like, how in the hell was this song not a big smash hit? It's that great of a song. So 2000 Man, freaking classic Ace song. It's a Rolling Stones cover, by the way. Yeah, not a bad freaking song on here, actually. What's the Gene song on here? Charisma. I like Charisma. That's a really good Gene song. So, okay, next one. Again, no particular order. Look it up. This is the first album without the makeup, and it sounded like I was talking down to this album. It's essential Kiss, and it's probably my second favorite Kiss album. The songs are really like heavy metal, and Exciter. Not for the Innocent is one of the dirtiest, ugliest metal songs I've ever heard, and it's so badass. On the Eighth Day, Dance All Over Your Face, Fits Like a Glove is the song where Gene Simmons, if you want to hear Gene Simmons go for it vocally, Fits Like a Glove. Oh my God, he belts it at the end of that song. All Hell's Breaking Loose is such a unique track because it has Paul Stanley rapping, and it works for some reason. A big part of why this album's so good too is Eric Carr. Rest in peace. Eric Carr's drumming really sent Kiss into the metal genre. You could not go metal with Peter Criss. Peter Criss fit that particular style of drumming when he was in Kiss. He could not have made Kiss a metal band though. They needed Eric Carr, and Eric Carr's drumming is phenomenal. On every album that he does, but especially on this album right here. Look It Up, of course, big, huge radio hit, and this is a great freaking album. It's probably the Kiss album that I listen to the most, if I'm being honest. So this is the comeback album. That's what I'll call it. All right, this might be the horny album actually. We'll call this one Horny 2. Animalize. I think if you want to encapsulate what Kiss was all about in the 80s, it's this album right here, Animalize. And by the way, holy crap, this is the only album with Mark St. John on guitar. He only played, I think, one live gig with him, and then he got arthritis really bad in his hand. But I've had enough Into the Fire. If I had to go top 5 80s Kiss songs, I've Had Enough might be up there in top 3. It is that freaking amazing and it's the beginning track. That'd be a good countdown. Top 10 intro tracks of rock albums. I've Had Enough, Into the Fire is it just really sets the tone of this album. So Mark St. John was a damn good guitarist. It's a shame that he couldn't go further with him. I'd be curious to see what Kiss would have been like if they stayed with Mark St. John, because he definitely makes a stamp on this album. Thrills in the Night, great freaking track. Under the Gun. Burn Bitch Burn, another classic Gene track. Yeah. All right. Next one, and here, let's get controversial. The Elder. I did a Kiss album tier list with Slasher Pepper a few months ago, and I was curious to see where he was going to put The Elder. He put The Elder at the very bottom tier. I put The Elder at the top tier. We had 5 tiers, and he was blown away. He was like, "What?" And no apologies. The Elder is a freaking amazing Kiss album, but oftentimes people will say it's a great album, but it's not a great Kiss album. I disagree. It's still Kiss, but I like that they stepped outside of their comfort zone. They tried something different. And I like the concept that they're going for. The album does feel like a full concept. But more importantly, the songs are just really great. And I love, like, Just a Boy, how Paul is vocally, he's going for a higher range than he usually does. I would say almost, let's put it this way. If he didn't nail it vocally, it could have been embarrassing for him. But he does it. It's a really high, what would that be, like a falsetto? But Just a Boy, really great track. And I'm telling you right now, I don't have to go down all the tracks. Every single one of them is really great. They're banger tracks. World Without Heroes, it's kind of a ballad. But it's not like a love ballad or anything like that. It's just kind of a sentimental type of World Without Heroes. Gene Simmons, great track though. And I listen to this album quite a bit. I really do. I love it. So, if anything, I gotta say, Kiss, they're that band that they give you a lot of flavor. They're not like AC/DC, where every album pretty much sounds the same. And AC/DC, they succeed at that. They're great at making those types of albums. I like that Kiss always pushed themselves and tried different things. And sometimes they fell on their face, but sometimes they didn't. And a lot of times when people thought they did, I thought they didn't. The first album, Essential. Dave Vanderhoff, thank you for sending it. Dave Vanderhoff sent me a couple of these, but I've listened to this one quite a few times too, and I love how low the production of this album is. And another good section of Paul's book when he talks about the feeling of walking into the studio for the first time. We're recording our first album, and he said he was like excited, but he was also scared to death, And he said his fear kind of caused him to pull back a little bit when they were making this album. When you listen to it, it doesn't feel like a band that is off the rails. It feels very safe and contained, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't have the album any other way. I think the songs stand on their own, and you got some essential Kiss tracks on here too, for sure. Cold Gin, one of my all-time favorite Kiss songs. Ace. I wish Ace would have sang that song, but he was too afraid to sing at this time. But yeah, just a really great intro album. And Kiss were on their way. Okay, here we go. This is Revenge. Thank you, Dave Vanderhoff. Revenge. This is an album that's like it reminds me of a point in my life. You have albums like that, guys, that you think of an album and you think immediately where you were at the time. And this is the album that I bought when I first came in the military. I came in 92, and I think this one came out in 92. And I was just really excited to have a new Kiss album. Huge fan back then. And this is a really heavy Kiss album. And one thing I didn't know when it first came out was Vinnie Vincent. They got Vinnie Vincent back to write a few of the songs. And I think that's one of the reasons why this album has a harder edge. Great title, Revenge. This was Kiss after, doing albums like Crazy Nights and, more poppy type albums. They thought, what, let's come back and let's just make a really hard-edged, in-your-face album without trying to be somebody else. That's what I liked about this album, because there's a few albums where Kiss, you think, okay, they're copying Soundgarden, or they're copying, whatever, like Motley Crue or whatever pop album might be around it. Kiss seemed to try to blend in with whatever was popular. This was Kiss just doing what they wanted to do at the time, And Unholy, man. What a freaking amazing intro track. Another banger. Gene's got some really good songs, actually. But, yeah, God Gave Rock and Roll to You. The last song that Eric Carr played on, he died while they were making this album. And they did it with Eric Singer. So, yeah. But, man, it's a really hard... And you can hear Vinnie Vincent in this album. Like he doesn't sing on the album, but you can, like, hear his influence. I don't think he even plays an instrument on this album. He might, I don't know, but you can definitely hear Vinnie Vincent's influence on it for sure. I'm one of those guys. I'm a Vinnie Vincent head. Like I love Vinnie Vincent to death, warts and all. I know the guy has a horrible reputation and he just can't seem to like get it right. But it's like a guy that has so much talent. Like he's like Eddie. I think he's like Van Halen, like Eddie Van Halen level guitarist. And I know people are going to freaking throw rocks at me for saying something like that. He's that good. You know, at least he was back in the day. But he just couldn't like make it. You know, he could never get to the top where like he should have. But I think his business dealings were his downfall. Because, man, he was a great writer, great guitar player. And his songs are some of my favorite Kiss songs. So, Hotter Than Hell, another essential Kiss album. Freaking, this album has so many damn good songs on it. Like Parasite, Got to Choose, Going Blind. Oh my God, Going Blind. That's another deep cut Kiss track that nobody ever talks about. By the way, one of my least favorite Kiss songs is Rock and Roll All Night Party Every Day. I don't like it. It's just played out. And it's definitely anthemic. And it was the song that Kiss needed at the time. But, yeah, it's not on this album. It's on Dress to Kill. But, yeah. Watching You, freaking Mainline, Coming Home, Strange Ways. Yeah, another essential Kiss song. Okay. 3 more, guys. 3 more. Here we go. 3 more. The Carnival of Souls. I got this one for Christmas, actually. They call this one like, it sounds kind of like Soundgarden. Gene Simmons has admitted he wanted to do a grunge type thing with this album. And Paul Stanley was like, what are we going to write about? Our limo's late? You know, we don't got nothing to be sad about. And I still think it's a really good album. And this album, it was not promoted at all because this is when Kiss got back together with Ace and Peter and put the makeup back on. And so they had this meeting with Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick, and they thought they were going to talk about the album. And Gene and Paul said, "No, we're actually getting back together with Ace and Peter." And so Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer were heartbroken, but business is business, and we all know how great the reunion tour did. So I remember seeing this album. I was on base station somewhere, and I saw it just on one of the racks. I think I was deployed, actually. And I saw this picture on the rack, and I was like, what is that? Is that Kiss? You know, it's probably the laziest album cover that Kiss... Like, they were just, let's do whatever we can to get this album out as quick as possible, you know? But it just happens to have some really good songs on it, you know? I call it the grunge album, all right? But is this... To me, this might be the last really good Kiss album. And I know that some might like some of the albums after this. I don't. To me, this is the last really good Kiss album. All right. 2 more. Unmasked. I talked about this one earlier. It's like the pop album. It's the album that nobody ever talks about. It was wedged in between 2 albums where Kiss was pretty much dead. You know, Peter didn't play a lick on this album. Peter's last video with the band was for Shandy. And so you got Anton Fig playing all the songs. He played all the songs on Dynasty, too. I think Peter might have played one of the songs on Dynasty, but I don't think Peter plays a single note on this album. But it is a great album. Really solid pop songs. Okay, last one. And that's the Paul Stanley one that I was talking about earlier. Paul and Ace have the 2 best Kiss solo albums. I think it really drove Paul nuts that Ace beat everybody in sales, record sales. But Ace's album is just fantastic, and it probably is the best. But this is a great freaking album too, though. At the end of the day, it sounds like Kiss because it's Paul Stanley who sings a lot of the Kiss songs. So, but Tonight You Belong to Me. Damn, that is such a standout track. One of the best freaking tracks, and I like his little backstory on that track too, because it was a girl that he was seeing at the time, and he was pushing her to be, I guess, get serious with him. And when she said yes, he freaked out and he said, "Oh my God, what the hell? Why did I do that?" He got cold feet, but it all worked out. But he wrote the song "Tonight You Belong to Me" about her because she was in a relationship with another guy. So this song's really about cheating. So yeah, but yeah, there's my Kiss albums, guys. And I know, like, I probably got 3 people watching now. One of them's Dave Vanderhoff, but yeah, great. I love my Kiss albums, and one day I'll have all of them, or at least all the ones that I want. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I think that'll do it. I just wanted to come on for like an hour and show you guys the backdrop. I'm very pleased with it. I think it looks really good, and I'm looking forward to the future with the new drum. This is probably, as far as like a change to my backdrop, I've probably changed my backdrop, oh my God, at least a dozen times now in 9 years. It's like every year I have a big change. But this is pretty similar, though, to my last one. It's just the walls are painted, and I shifted some things around. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, take care of each other. Be good. And I will see you guys on the Flip Flap. I should be live again next weekend. All right? So, anyway, guys, love you.